The cage in the laboratory. Ethan Riker strode through the dimly lit corridors of the abandoned research facility. His boots echoed on the cracked tiles, and the flickering lights cast eerie shadows on the walls. He had stumbled upon this place while scavenging for parts for his ship on the outskirts of Tauros 7, a remote and largely unexplored planet. The facility's exterior had seemed ordinary enough, but the hum of hidden machinery hinted at secrets buried within. As he ventured deeper, he noticed rows of rusted cages lining the walls of a laboratory. Most were empty, but one in the far corner held a small figure curled up inside. As Ethan approached, he saw her. A miniature woman, no taller than a foot, with shimmering lavender skin and silver hair that seemed to float as if caught in a gentle breeze. Her eyes, large and luminescent, opened slowly and locked onto his. There was an intelligence in them, a silent plea for freedom. The cage emitted a faint blue glow, indicating some kind of force field. Ethan crouched to examine it. "Who put you here?" he muttered half to himself. The tiny woman tilted her head, her lips moving as if she were speaking, but no sound emerged. A quick scan of the cage revealed a control panel with alien symbols. Though he wasn't fluent in this particular dialect, years of navigating uncharted territories had taught him enough to make an educated guess. He tapped a sequence on the panel, and the force field fizzled out. The cage door creaked open. For a moment, the alien woman hesitated, then stepped forward, her tiny feet barely making a sound. She raised a hand toward Ethan's face, her expression a mix of gratitude and curiosity. Before he could react, she placed her palm on his forehead, and a warm, soothing sensation coursed through him. In that instant he understood her. She was communicating directly with his mind. "Thank you," her voice echoed in his thoughts. "I am Lyra." "I'm Ethan," he replied, shaking off his surprise. "What happened here?" Lyra's expression darkened. She gestured for him to follow, and he did, his curiosity piqued. As they navigated the labyrinthine facility, she projected images into his mind. Scientists in white coats experimenting on her and others like her, their faces cold and unfeeling. The experiments had been cruel, designed to harness her people's unique ability to manipulate energy. Lyra was the last survivor. A bond forged. Ethan clenched his fists as the images faded. "That's despicable," he growled. "No one deserves that." Lyra's response was a soft smile, tinged with sadness. She pointed to a door ahead, its surface adorned with glowing symbols. "Escape lies through there," her voice resonated in his mind. "Escape." Ethan raised an eyebrow. "Aren't you coming with me?" She hesitated, then nodded. Together they entered the chamber, only to find a massive console at its center. Screens flickered to life, displaying security footage of the facility. One screen showed a group of drones activating, their red lights blinking ominously. "They're coming," Ethan muttered, drawing his plasma pistol. "Can you disable them?" Lyra floated upward, her tiny hands outstretched. Energy pulsed from her body, connecting with the console. Sparks flew, and the screens went dark. The distant hum of approaching drones faded into silence. "Impressive," Ethan said, grinning. Lyra's glow dimmed slightly, a sign of her exertion. Ethan scooped her up and placed her on his shoulder. "You've got guts, I'll give you that. Let's get out of here." ### the pursuit. The escape wasn't easy. The facility's automated defenses sprang to life, forcing Ethan and Lyra to dodge lasers and navigate collapsing corridors. Lyra's abilities proved invaluable. She created energy shields to deflect attacks and guided Ethan through hidden passages. When they finally burst out into the open, The night sky of Tauros 7 stretched above them, its twin moons casting an ethereal glow. Ethan's ship, the Starstrider, was parked nearby, but the sound of engines roaring behind them signaled pursuit. A squadron of security drones emerged from the facility, their weapons trained on the duo. "Get to the ship!" Ethan yelled, firing at the drones. His shots took out 2, but more replaced them. Lyra leaped from his shoulder and hovered in midair, her body radiating light. She extended her hands, and a wave of energy erupted, short-circuiting the drones. "That's my girl," Ethan cheered, scooping her up as he sprinted to the Starstrider. They boarded just as more drones appeared on the horizon. Ethan fired up the engines, and the ship roared to life, blasting off into the atmosphere. A new mission. Safe in the vastness of space, Ethan set the autopilot and turned to Lyra. "So what now? Where do you want to go?" Lyra hesitated, then projected an image of a lush, crystalline planet. "My home," she said, her voice tinged with longing. "But it is far, and I cannot guide you alone." "Then we'll figure it out together," Ethan said, determination in his voice. "I've got nothing but time." As they charted a course, Lyra began teaching Ethan about her people, their history, and their connection to the universe's energy. In turn, Ethan shared tales of his travels, his losses, and his dreams. They became partners, their bond growing stronger with each passing day. The final stand. Their journey wasn't without peril. The corporation that had experimented on Lyra's people sent bounty hunters after them, determined to reclaim their property. Time and again, Ethan and Lyra evaded capture, using their combined skills to outwit and outfight their pursuers. But their luck ran out near the edge of the Andromeda sector. A heavily armed frigate intercepted them, its captain demanding Lyra's surrender. Ethan refused, initiating a desperate battle. The Starstrider was outgunned, and Ethan was injured when the ship's systems were breached. Seeing her friend's life slipping away, Lyra made a choice. She stepped forward, her body glowing brighter than ever before. "I can end this," she said softly, her voice trembling. "But it will cost me everything." "No," Ethan croaked, clutching her tiny hand. "We'll find another way." Lyra shook her head. "You gave me freedom, Ethan. Now I give you life." She floated to the center of the ship, her glow intensifying until it was blinding. A surge of energy erupted, engulfing the frigate and disabling its systems. When the light faded, the frigate drifted powerless, but Lyra was gone. A legacy of light. Ethan recovered slowly, his heart heavy with grief. He searched for any trace of Lyra, but she was truly gone. Yet, he felt her presence within him, a faint warmth that guided him. He made it his mission to honor her sacrifice. He exposed the corporation's atrocities, rallying allies across the galaxy to dismantle their operations. Along the way, he shared Lyra's story, inspiring others to stand against injustice. Years later, as he gazed at the stars from the bridge of a larger ship, Ethan felt a familiar warmth. In his heart, he knew Lyra's light would never fade. And so, her legacy lived on, a beacon of hope in a vast and uncertain universe.